Snap up. Good morning. What's going on? This morning we're doing a little mini lesson, just a tiny one, little tiny one. Literally about 10 minutes ago, Robin and I just watched Casey Neistat's latest vlog. This mini lesson is kind of about that. It's about money for something different. What I'm going to try and convey in this little mini lesson, in this couple of minutes, is that everyone who's watching this is already a millionaire, if not a billionaire. Robin's just good out of bed. Billionaire. Everyone watching this has already got their billion. They've definitely got $1 million worth of income, or 20K a week. I'm going to show you where it is. You just drown it out and think you don't have it because of social idealisms. But unless you really have a high value on financial currency, you won't convert your equity and your wealth into financial currency because it will be dispersed into all the other forms that you're currently holding it in. The forms that you currently hold your wealth in represent what's truly valuable to you. So if you go and do, remember yesterday's lessons, if you go and do something like infatuate with financial wealth, basically what you're doing is you're dishonoring your current existing wealth. You're dishonoring the form that it's in. You have lack of gratitude, you self-minimize, and then your life gets messed up. Depending on what you really value, that's where your wealth will be held. That's where your equity is. So someone like Casey Neistat, I know a lot of guys watch Casey, his wealth is in his following. Hit the 5 million subs, I think, in the last 24 hours. Someone could go through an entire life with 5 million people following them and have a big social influence and never really convert it to financial wealth. It's not until financial wealth becomes so important to you that you'll actually do what it takes to convert your other equity into financial wealth. And then you'll be wealthy financially. So this here video went up 7 hours ago. It was a link for a GoFundMe page for Marlon's sister who's got some health concerns right now. Here it is. 106 grand, 106,000 US dollars, 106 gorillas in 7 hours. Now, that's not profit. That's not like an ongoing sustainable business model, right? I'm not talking about that. I share this story to demonstrate the fact that Casey's wealth was always there. His ability to make $106,000 in 7 hours has always been there. The equity was tied up in his following. It wasn't until he had a reason big enough and a value on the financial component that he actually went out of his way and organized the bloody process so that that wealth could be converted into money. Does that make sense? PewDiePie did this last month. PewDiePie's the biggest guy on YouTube, by the way. He's got 48 million subscribers. He's the biggest guy on the planet on YouTube right now. He did the same thing with Patreon. But because he's a comedian, it was a complete piss take. He didn't offer anything. It was just like, go to this site and pledge money to me. It was a joke. The people who pledged the money didn't get anything. But just through sheer volume, he ended up with $4,000 a month US dollar income stream. People go to work for that, and he provided nothing. Could you imagine what he could make if he actually put something together and organized something and come from a place of wanting to serve people? How much he could make from a monthly subscription? Holy shitbags. But in the case of PewDiePie, I think he's doing like 7 million a year from just ad rev, not including sponsorships and all that stuff. He's probably fine. What I'm getting at in this mini lesson is to honor where your wealth is currently tied up because you've got a lot of it. Let me explain. When I was in high school, one of my friends had her Discman confiscated for listening to music in a science class, and the next day, the teacher basically said, come and get it from me, you can have it back, come get it from me in the lunch break. The friend of mine said, no, fuck that, I can't be bothered, bring it to me in the next class. And the teacher replied, no, kid, you fucked up, you brought the thing, you were not meant to bring it to school, you gotta come and get it from me. And the friend of mine blew up and said, it's a $100 Discman, bring it back. And the teacher, he was a math teacher by the way, the teacher said, alright, I've had a $100 note sitting in my office, would you come and get it from me at the lunch break? The friend said, yeah, of course I would, it's a $100 note. And the teacher said, well, it's not a $100 Discman, it's not worth $100 to you. Because if it was, then you'd come and get it for $100. Would you come and get a $50 note? Yes. Would you come and get a $20 note? And he just kept going until we got down to $10. By the time he talked about $10, would you come to my office at lunch to get a $10 note? The friend was like, nah, fuck it, it's not worth it. And then the teacher said something really interesting, something that has always stuck with me to this day. He said, the Discman's not worth $100 to you. It's not a $100 Discman. It's about $10. There's a book called The Principles of Economics written by Alfred Marshall. He says, everything can be assigned a monetary value. Everything. And there's a real easy process to figure out exactly how much everything in your whole life is worth to you. Here's the thing. We live in a culture where that's really frowned upon. So no one knows what they're worth. No one knows what they've got and what it's really worth to them because they were told by society not to tally things up with money. Coaching a couple recently, struggling financially. They said, we've tried everything that we can possibly do to make more money, but we just don't have money. I Everything. You tried everything? Everything. People always say that shit. They don't. Usually they try like fucking 2 things. I think this is what you do. You can get you $250,000 a year starting next week. You get on the website, you list your wife's services, people come and shag her for $1,000. Get you 5 sessions a week, make sure she's skilled up, make sure she's doing a bloody good job. You get you $250,000 a year. They say that's fucking crazy. That's not crazy. This is crazy compared to your values or your conditionings. People think it's taboo or naughty or some shit. There's people who pay to be swingers. Heaps of people would do that. If you choose not to, understand that that's just your values. Honor them. Honor your wealth. Honor your wife. Honor that is worth, that loyalty or the monogamy thing is worth more than you to $250 a year. Not willing to go that far? Step it down just a notch. Good looking wife? Do some porno. Do some stills. Easy. You don't even do it yourself. You don't need to get another guy. When I go through this crazy list, I don't think it's crazy. I just think people have very boxed ideas. They don't think outside of it. But if you don't want to do that, you don't want to pimp your wife, you don't want to do the porno, fair enough. Realize though that you've got the wealth there. It's just in a form that you value more than money. The process is, go through your entire life, figure out where all of your wealth is stored. Do you have social influence? Do you have a good looking wife? Are you a particularly good looking motherfucker? Are you modeling? Are you doing Instagram? Are you doing stuff? Are you particularly smart? Are you good at teaching? Do you have high net worth social connections that you could link together and get a deal and take a cut? Do you have intellectual property? Where's your wealth? Get it all out on paper, monetize it, figure out really what it's worth monetarily. It can be done if you open your mind. You'll find that you're a multimillionaire already. In fact, you do it long enough and deep enough, spend enough time on it over a couple of weeks, you realize you're probably a billionaire in reality. We just limit our thinking. You're big and strong, be a hitman. You get $100,000 pop, you can make $100,000 a week. Be a hitman, go kill people. And I use these extreme examples, not because it's actually, this is a suggestion, go and do that shit. I'm using the extreme examples to realize that you've got to think outside the box. Because when you get that list of paper, and you see all the things that you could do and where all your wealth is tied up and how much you're really worth, and the fact that you've got your life now, instead of that income or that financial wealth, you start to realize something really interesting. You've designed your life exactly how it is. You've designed it this way because however you're living your life now is what's important to you. It's what's valuable to you. If you wanted the money, you would have done the other shit. But you didn't, and you don't. Your life is perfect as it is now. This is why I'm so big on neutralizing your infatuations, because most people don't want money. And you can tell they don't want it because they're not willing to do what it takes. Everyone's got the wealth. They're just not willing to do the conversion because the way that their wealth is tied up now is exactly how they want it. So what everyone's doing with their life is they're going infatuating with people with all the financial wealth. They're dishonoring their own wealth. They're dishonoring themselves, and they're comparing themselves to a fantasy that they don't even want. They just think that they want it because they think that that's going to have more pleasures and pains, more benefits and drawbacks. It's not. It doesn't. It won't. It's a fantasy. You've got a fantasy. And as soon as that fantasy's dialed in, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get your conservation of polarities. You run a fantasy into the future, what will happen is you're going to have a nightmare in the present. And your autonomic nervous system and its infinite wisdom is looking out for you. It's trying to get you back to balance and gratitude and love. It's sending you negative feedback responses. Depression. Depression is nothing but a comparison of your current life to a fantasy that you're addicted to. Break the fantasy, break the depression. You don't need the drugs. Maybe some marijuana so you can chill the fuck out, get present, and get grateful for your life. Your life is perfect. You've designed it the way it is. Honor it. Love it. And when you do, when you can honor your past and honor your results and honor your truest self and love exactly how you've designed your life up until this point, just see what happens. Thanks for all the nice messages about the mini lessons, a couple last mini lessons, you scallywags. Today at IPHQ, we're doing a photo shoot. My girlfriend Robin is writing her second book of the year. And it's a recipe book, this one, so she's making all this fucking food and we're taking photos of it. This, by the way, is her first book. Isn't it good looking? Isn't she good looking? Babe, you're very good looking. If you judge a book by its cover, you're going to want to put this on your bookshelf. By the way, babe, I forgot to tell you. Did you watch my Snapchat story this morning?
I heard it, yeah.
There's been a couple of inquiries about your services. 1,000 bones, babe.
Get yourself.
She costs a little bit more than it. How much, babe?
Million.
I mean, yeah, in the 7 figures we'll start talking, but $1,000 bucks, come on. Julian, check this motherfucker.